What's up, bro?
What's going on, brother? How you doing?
Good, how are you? Thank you for coming along, being on my first episode of What's Your Drive?
Thank you, Frank. Appreciate it. It's an honor.
So for everybody that don't know, we have Chris, Mr. Tuesday on Instagram.
What's going on, peoples? What's going on?
Let's get started. Let's see where this goes.
do it.
We're gonna have a conversation pretty much to ask you like what got you into cars, and yeah, just kind of want to know your story of how you got started and everything that you like.
So I think we spoke about this numerous times. I'm, out of everybody in the crew, I'm the old guy. So I've been in the car game, or I've been in love with the car game since I was a kid in the 90s. And that's where I think it started. You got the SL 500s and old school BMW 3 Series on BBSs. That's the drug dealer's car. So that's
And that was your dream, to have a drug dealer's car?
well, I think everybody's dream at that time was that fantasy, right? So, but you know, it evolved to what it is today, and
Yeah.
there's a lot of different things going on now, but to each their own, right? That's the whole point of the culture.
Yeah, everybody to do their own thing and just enjoy it.
Hell yeah.
So if you don't mind me asking, what do you do for a living? Pretty much to enjoy this hobby that we all love.
I'm not a drug dealer.
I hope not. At least
State
not on
that for the
camera.
record.
Cut.
No, I'm not. A lot of people say I am, but no. You know who you are.
He's an engineer, by the way, guys.
Yeah, so I'm not an engineer. Everyone says that I am. I work in engineering. I'm in construction engineering, so I've been doing that since, I don't know, 2007. So that's what I love, that's what I do, and solve problems, and yeah.
That's pretty cool, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's, pays the bills.
Yeah, and it gets you cars parts.
Yeah, it gets me car parts.
So
When the wife says I can.
So another question is like, what is the biggest sacrifice you have made in order to afford like car parts, or let's say to like go to a car event, or etc.
So growing up, when I was younger, cars, that's what you were into, right? And now that I have a family and I'm in that process of the kids are growing up and getting older and they're moving out, I can now start to spend that extra money on that passion I used to have, which is cars. That's where I'm at right now. So it's a good feeling now, because now that the kids are growing up and they're almost out, you can now focus on your passions and your hobbies. And it's an expensive hobby, don't get me wrong. There's pros and cons of everything. So that's the con of this game, is it's expensive. It ain't cheap.
That is true. You ain't lying about that one.
I mean, if you want to do things the right way, in my opinion, I'm a person that likes to do things the right way and get things done correctly, not half-ass it. So it gets more expensive when you go down that route.
True. I mean, like, you always want to do everything just once instead of like,
right.
Maybe I should get the cheaper part, but a few months down the lines, for example, you have to replace it or buy something different because, the part failed, or etc.
That all depends on your end goal too, right? Because like my idea right now is I want to be on a track
Right.
with my car. Initially it was all show, but all the things I've done to it is like, I'm glad I didn't get bags, by the way. Everyone's, I want you to get bags. No, I don't want bags, because at the end of the day, I want to be on a track. And everyone says you can be on bags on a track, which is, I guess, fine. But in my eyes, personally, I just don't see it. I prefer to have coilovers.
Yeah, I mean, with a bag, you could have a line fail, lose some air in one corner.
That's my biggest fear.
You could have a bag explode because obviously at the track, shit gets hot.
Yeah, 200.
It heats up, brake pads heat up, everything heats up, and everything is like all connected right there. So,
so I don't want to.
You could have a bad day if you blow a bag.
You could have a bad day either way, but
I think it's more of a chance you could have a worse day if you blow out a bag in a corner because everything got too high or too much like load on one side.
Yeah, if you drop to the ground on a turn, you're screwed.
Yeah, you're gonna have a bad day.
Yeah,
it's gonna suck.
Yeah.
So what do we have here? What kind of car is this?
So I've got a 2018 Infiniti Q50. Everyone says it's not a Skyline, but in my eyes, in Japan, it is a Skyline. It ain't an R32 by any means, but it's the Lux Edition, so it's the poor man's version of it.
Hey.
And
at least you got it now.
So. Yeah, it's true. And I've done some things to it to, you know, make it my own, I guess.
Right. So what are some like future plans you have for the car? I know you talked about track stuff. I see that you have like some nice 20s on there or 19s.
Yeah, thank you.
And
Appreciate it.
like, are you trying to like change the wheel setup? I know that you did your brake upgrades. We put stiffer like sway bars and stuff like that on the car.
Yeah, so I've got suspension wise, I've got BC Racing coilovers on there. I got front and rear sway bars. I got a strut bar in the engine bay. Just got the recent big brake kit, and right now my goal right now is I want to get on track. Never done it before. I want to try to get into it. This is my daily, so
there's always that combination of being
yeah.
Going too far with like taking stuff out, like let's say gutting the interior to get on the track to have lighter car versus having the luxury. Obviously, this is a luxury car that you could take to the track if you wanted to.
Yeah,
so
you could. It's also 3,800 pounds, so it's not light in my eyes. But it's a car that I have right now that I was like, you know what, I can go either way with it. And right now, I feel like I want to do the track scene, but still being a show car, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, there's a lot of like track cars that look better than show cars nowadays. So like true. It could go either way. It depends, like you were saying, what parts you put on your car.
It all depends, yeah.
And how well you take care of it.
Hell yeah.
For everybody that don't know, Mr. Tuesday here, Chris is we call him Sham Daddy because he keeps his car the cleanest out of everybody out of the group.
It's very dirty right now. It is extremely dirty. Like, I'm embarrassed to have it on camera right now. We shouldn't be doing this right now. We should be doing this on another day. But yeah, no, that's a passion of mine. Absolutely, that trumps being on a track.
Like having your car clean.
My car, I grew up, and shout out to my cousin, man. We always had our cars clean, and he was my inspiration to have a clean car.
It's like that, there's a meme that goes around, like they 15s, but you shine them enough and they look like 22s or whatever it was.
Yeah, treat them like they're 22s. Hell yeah.
That's how you like to keep your car, huh?
Yeah, man, I like to keep it as clean as possible. Everyone makes fun of me, but I take it in stride, and
it's just it's admiring, that you always keep. It's hard to keep a black car clean,
dude,
and not have swirls, and you keep this extremely freaking clean.
If we can take the camera. I'll show you all the imperfections. There are. It's hard as hell to keep this car clean. It's black, and anybody with a black car, it's a full-time job.
Yes, definitely is. I agree.
Hell
so. Now that we know what you have here, can we talk about some cons about the car?
Yes. So this is a VR30, and this is the newer engine as opposed to that 3.7 that came in the earlier years. The earlier years of the VR30, in my opinion, had the big coolant issue, and I think you and I have experienced and talked about this. I've had a coolant issue with this engine. And mind you, I got this car at like 36,000 miles, and I don't beat this car at all. Like, I try not to. I'll go hard on it, but I won't beat on it. And I had to get, it was an engine failure, and I had to get a brand new engine at 59,000 miles.
That's so just 20,000 miles of driving the car, the engine went to crap.
And I had the car tuned, and again, I wasn't beating on it, but when I got the car tuned, I was told it was a healthy engine, and for me to have it 20,000 miles later and it die on me, I was like, shit. Well, it didn't die on me. It was on its way out.
Yeah.
So we had to get it replaced. And
it was mixing the coolant with the oil.
Right.
So it was something internally. It's not like you could see it from the outside.
Right. Yeah. And that's the thing. I was putting coolant in every day, and that's a big red flag.
Yeah.
Right. And
but you don't see, like, I'm sure you didn't see any leaks or any cooling on the ground. So you're like, what the
last
heck
day we
is
actually
happening?
hung out, we had white smoke come out.
Yes.
At Home Depot. We were there, and I was like,
we were like, bro, you got some white smoke coming out of your thing. So we thought it was your turbo seals or something blown.
Yeah.
Because that's also a sign, but we couldn't really see because it was so bright that if it looks bluish, also you could tell that it's like kind of burning the coolant.
I had a good friend of mine, Riley. He had a 3.0 Red Sport, and then you as well. You convinced me, just take it to the dealership.
Yeah.
And I was real hesitant on taking it. I was like, man, I don't want to deal with the dealership, man. That whole week, bro, I told you,
you were ready to get rid of the thing.
I was ready to burn this car to the ground, put it down this hill or something, man, because it was, I was not having it, man. I was upset. I was pissed. It was all the emotions.
And I mean, I'm sure it happens to like everybody that has car issues. As you know, I had to replace the engine in my car. And at the time, I was like, man, how am I going to do this? I was like, one, I never swapped the engine in my life. So
Yeah.
I had to learn.
I commend you for that, bro.
I had to learn.
I've never done that in my life, and I wouldn't.
You
I don't know
wouldn't
how
try.
you did it.
Patience and talking to a good bunch of people, giving me advice and, you know, what to double check for and stuff like that. So
yeah.
I was able to do it. So you got a new engine. Luckily, they gave you the 2024 Nissan Z engine with the upgraded internals and turbo. So I'm assuming,
Yeah.
and we're hoping that the problem is fixed with the coolant, because this was a infinity issue.
It is, yeah. I mean, well, anybody who's got I would say late 16 to early 19 VR30, just keep an eye out on.
Yeah, if
coolant
your
issues.
car is like sucking up coolant and you're always putting coolant on your joint, make sure you go to the dealership and let's pray you have warranty on it.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, then you're gonna be crap out of an engine.
Well, see, at the time when this all happened, the engine itself was like 15K new, and
You said new or for
new,
a
brand
used
new,
one?
brand new,
Brand new, 0 miles.
0 miles. A used one is probably running like 9, I think, maybe.
That's a big gamble for $9,000.
It is, and I'm thankful now that it's dropped in price. I think you get one like a Z1 for like $5,000 now, $6,000. So that's a big help. But like I said, if anybody out there who's got that model, those years, man, just keep an eye on it, because I'd hate for you to go through all that. It's heartbreaking, and some of you guys already probably gone through it, and you know how it is.
So now that we talked about some of the bad stuff you don't like about the car, like what are some pros about having this specific car?
I love this car because it's different. And when I say it's different, I feel I'm a Nissan head, I'm a Honda guy, and I don't see a lot of Q50s around. Shout out to all my Q50 owners. I just like it because it's different. It's not a Civic. It's not, no offense, 370Z, 350Z. Everyone's got one.
Yeah.
BMWs, like,
They're a dime a dozen. You see them everywhere.
It's to me, it's unique because you don't see it around.
Especially, yeah, that is true. You don't see a lot of modified ones, but like you see,
yeah,
sometimes you pass somebody on the highway and they're driving a Q50,
yeah,
but
it's
a
a
modified
middle-aged old woman's
Q50,
car. That's what it is. That's what it is.
A woman's car.
You see a woman driving this every day.
It's a little sexist. That's fucked up.
I'm sorry.
That's
Take
funny.
that out. Edit, cut it.
No, that's staying in because that's gonna be a little controversial with some people.
Great.
Jesus Christ. Sorry guys, we had a park doing this.
Yeah.
So some dude just flew over a damn speed bump.
Crazy.
Almost left the suspension over there. So now, what made you go in the route of picking a Japanese car versus going American car, like a foreign car in that aspect? I know you just said this because you don't see it every day, but what drove you to this chassis?
So I don't know if people want to say Infiniti is an American brand because it's only available in America. To me, it's still Nissan. It's a Nissan, right?
I guess it's a luxury version of a
luxury
Nissan.
version of Nissan.
Yeah.
I've always loved JDM cars. I was always into it, and nothing against domestics. I just haven't seen myself in a domestic, and I don't know if to this day if I still would. I mean, maybe a Mustang, but that's
The new Mustangs though,
the
they
new
do
one,
look
yes.
good. Their
Dark
front ends are
horses.
so aggressive. Oh my God.
But I've always been a JDM guy. You know, shout out to the KDM guys, but I've been JDM my entire life. You know, my first car was a Nissan Maxima '89, a little boxy one. So that I beat. I will lie. I beat. You know, it was my first car out of high school.
Well, tell them the story. What happened to that car?
So I got the car. I graduated in 02, right? 02, 01, 02. I got the car, and I had a buddy of mine. You know, at the time I didn't know how to really mess with a car. It was an automatic, and he said, "Yeah, you just act like fourth, third, and second is your gears.
Like
and,
your gears, like your load, second and third,
low,
and drive."
You know, I was doing that. Yeah, I got a manual. Da 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 da. Fast forward like 6 months later, the car only went in reverse.
Oh my
So
God.
it was toast.
I got a funny, similar story. So my first car was a 300ZX.
Yeah.
And it was automatic because I didn't know how to drive stick at the time. I was using the overdrive like there's no tomorrow. So like I'll be on the power, full throttle, hit the overdrive, the car would downshift and accelerate, and then I would just like do it again, and I did it enough until I broke the timing belt on it. And I locked up the engine twice.
You don't have good luck with the engines.
Well, I mean, it was my first car. Honestly, I didn't have good luck buying my first car, so I bought a lemon. Because on my way home, the engine locked up on the highway. We were cruising at like 60 miles an hour in New Jersey, because this is when we lived in New York.
Yeah.
And we were driving home, the engine just died, and I got stuck on the side of the highway.
That's the worst.
And then my mom had to call the guy, tell them we were gonna take him to court and stuff, because we didn't even have the car like 30 minutes before the engine died. And then he sent me the money to go buy an engine, like a JDM engine.
What'd you get?
The same engine.
Same one?
I mean, I didn't know much about cars, so I just looked up whatever engine came in the car, and I got...
You should just got
Called
an
around, like-
RB26, man.
Shit. I was like freaking 18 or 17.
RB26 back then probably should.
It probably would have been cheap, or Jay-Z,
$10,000
you know,
easy?
yeah, like it would have been a lot cheaper than what they are now. But
Oh, yeah.
I was new into the car. I didn't know shit about cars. It was my first car.
That sucks.
So I got the engine replaced in New York, and I was back driving, enjoying my car, and then like an idiot, then I did the same overdrive thing, like, you know, for a second time, and then the car sat for a while, and then I replaced the engine once again, put the same engine in it, and then I just enjoyed that car until I had to sell it and get a sedan.
What sedan did you get?
A G35, a black G35 at that.
Oh, so you know about black cars.
Yeah, I had a black G35, and because my sister and I were moving in together, and the Z was lowered and stuff like that, and she didn't feel comfortable driving it, so I was like, I'll get another one eventually.
Okay.
So I got the black G35, then like a year went by, I bought a 350Z.
So you went back to your Z's.
I went back to my Z's, yeah. I mean, I still kept the black G35, and then on top of that, I was like, I need a daily. So I got an 07 G35, and I used to drive that daily, and I parked the Z. But eventually, I ended up getting rid of all of them, and then she bought her own car, and I just still with my 350Z.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I've been a sedan guy. I mean, I love coupes and all, but I don't know. Sedans for me is, I guess that's where it's at. So
Yeah.
we'll see. Maybe it'll change. When I get my Honda S2000.
That will be nice. That will be real nice. Yeah. So we talked about your cons, your pros.
Yep.
Why you went in the route that you went with what's it called? JDM cars.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm drawing a blank because I had all this written down on my iPad, and it just died on me.
You just died.
It just died on me.
No,
Can't
you're
catch
good.
a break. By the way, guys, this is not the first time we did this. Last time I started doing this,
Yeah.
I didn't know that my camera stopped recording after 30 minutes, and we talked for like a whole hour, and I missed the whole back of the damn conversation, and I was like, oh my God, you gotta be kidding me.
We need a production assistant out there.
But now I learned, and then I didn't have the mic set up, so you couldn't hear crap. So now I'm like learning from it, which is better.
It's all a process. It's all a process.
I'm really drawing a blank because
Oh, you're good.
I was...
So let me ask you, what got you into JDM?
When I was like 15 or 16, I saw a 300ZX at the mall. I was with my mom, and I just thought it was like I saw two of them. There was a burgundy one, and there was like a cherry red one. And hold on, there's a freaking car, a bike coming by, moped. To answer your question, I saw two 300ZXs. It was a burgundy one and like a cherry red one at the mall. And I told my mom, I was like, man, that is the freaking coolest car I've ever seen. So obviously I went to the back of the car because I didn't know what it was. I saw there was a Nissan. I wrote it down, and I kept that little paper until I got home, and I started looking them up. And ever since, I just looked up videos and photos of them. I was obsessed with that freaking car. And I told my mom, I was like, I want one of these. And she said, come up with like half of what one cost, and then I'll match you. So that's what I did. So I came up with my half. Like, I was washing dishes, working at a restaurant, working in the kitchen, washing dishes, collecting my paycheck just so I could go buy one.
That's crazy.
And yeah.
The things you do for the hobby you love, right?
Yeah, and then I just ended up freaking, I had my half, and my mom got me the other half, and we went and picked one up. Like I said earlier, like freaking unluckily, you know, the engine blew. But the guy was, after some threats from my mom that we were gonna take him to court, you know, he sent me the money, like PayPal.
Really?
So I could go buy the other engine, yeah. Luckily, I mean, the engine was like $800. So we talked about my Z and what I did to afford it.
Yep.
I guess now, you might have mentioned this in the beginning, but what was the first car that you saw that you said, wow, I want one of those back in the day?
Should I specify first regular schmegular community, anybody can get car, or
Well,
supercar?
just
Because
like okay, let's say you had your car already and you were driving, right?
okay,
And then you were like, damn, I want one of those.
I think it would be a Mercedes SL 500.
SL 500.
Yeah, there's my list for that topic is vast.
Really?
Yeah, I mean up there is 94 NSX.
Like you saw it in the States, like in person?
Yeah,
Wow.
that.
Well, I guess it was the early 2000s.
early-
The Hondas were hot
Yeah.
in the scene at the time.
Another one was, believe it or not, the Mazda Millennia.
The Millennia.
Yeah,
Interesting.
that was a nice little sedan. We had a neighbor up the block who had one. It was on at the time 17s, because 17s were big, literally that time, 17s, 18s, and riding my bike, I was like, yeah, that's the car, that's the
Nice.
one I want. Never got it, but
I mean, it was like at least to guide you into like,
yeah, it was one of those things like, oh, there goes that dude. That's a
yeah.
nice car.
Mhm.
And I've always strived for that feeling, even for myself. It's like, man, that's what I want. A nice, clean car, right?
Yeah.
So,
What's your dream car? I know you own this one, and it's a beautiful car, but like I'm sure you probably have like a dream car or a goal car that you hope to own one day eventually.
2002 NSX.
2002 NSX.
That's what it is. Black. There's a couple guys out here at the car shows. They've got two of them. I've every time I see it, man, I've got to go see it. I've got to see it in person. It's my car. I'm like, it may not make a whole bunch of power at first, but it's for me.
It's just that nostalgia.
It's the epitome of what I think is a great car. And I've never gotten to drive one before, and I would love to do it.
That would be real cool.
Yeah, man. But you got to have 90.
Hopefully, anybody that watches this, if you have an NSX,
Yeah, man.
and you mind giving Chris the dream experience of driving
For a
an NSX,
weekend, not an hour, a weekend.
and
All right.
I don't know if they'll do it for a weekend. They might be like, all right, bro, we're gonna give you a test drive, just drive it around
You
town.
know what? I'll do. Yeah, let's do that. Test drive your car for the weekend.
for the weekend. I don't know. That's gonna be tough, but I'm sure
Boost
somebody
season,
would.
though. It's got to be during boost season.
That's if it's boosted. A lot of them come
That's
naturally
right.
aspirated.
Yeah, that's
You
right.
could either put a supercharger, which sounds sick, or
Still
probably
cold
turbo
air.
it. Yeah,
Still cool there.
yeah. So what do your family and friends think about like this hobby that you do?
It's ridiculous.
That's what they tell you?
No, I'm sure that's what they think. I had Instagram for a while, and when I had started, I didn't have this car. I wasn't deep into the car scene, and it was family, friends. That's all it was. But now all it is just my car, and that's personal reason, right? So
I think everybody that's mainly a car person probably goes through that transition, I guess,
Yeah.
because I've done it.
yeah,
Like at first when I started Instagram, it was just a bunch of pictures of me and my
Yeah.
family, shit that we did like on the weekends or
Yeah.
whatever, partying. And
Yeah.
then slowly it started posting car pictures, then more car pictures, and now there's just like here and there's a picture of Alex and I,
yeah.
and now it's just like everything is cars.
Yeah, and that's what it is, right? I mean, that's what social media for me is about, and it's being part of that car culture. I like being part of it. At this time in my life, that's where I'm at. And
Because I feel like with as open as everything is nowadays, like you can find anything about anybody online.
yeah,
Like you want to keep I like to keep my family stuff extremely private.
Yeah.
Like if I post car stuff, that's all you're gonna see.
yeah, absolutely.
So like I just feel like you gotta separate the two. Not like everybody that put their business out there.
Yeah, some people have dual accounts, right?
Yeah, they got
So-
like a personal one, and then they have like their car accounts.
For me, it was too much. I was just like, man, I can't go back and forth. I mean, I've got my Elite Styles page that we do, and it's tough to go back and forth and try to keep up with that and what I try to do on my own page. So, yeah, it's
It's a
full-time job, man.
yeah, it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
So now this is a hypothetical question, right? So if you could go back and give yourself one piece of advice with what you know now to a younger you, what year would you choose to go back to, and what would you tell yourself?
It's hard because the 25-year rule is still in play, and you know what I'm talking about.
For everybody that don't know, he's talking about like the Skylines R34.
Yeah. Knowing what I know now, obviously I would go back and I'd try to buy and snatch up every single classic car. And when I say classic car, I'm putting it in the category of our generation now. Now, I'm the oldest guy, but classic cars now are considered, you know, your Camaros, your Barracudas, your old school Corvettes. For us, I believe the classic cars are your NSX, your S2000s, your Supras, your Skylines, all your
Like
exotic,
the JDM.
all your whole JDM, even your Euro cars, your M3s, right, your E36s.
Oh my God, yes, they gone up in prices so crazy.
Yeah, so that to me, that's our generational classic cars. If I could go back in time, I'd try to pick up every single one of those, knowing what I know now,
Right.
and just have that car collection from the get. But, you know, you got a machine back there or something where you can go back in time or what?
I mean, I could make it hit 88 miles an hour, you know. Freaking.
Oh yeah, I believe that.
Okay, so, you know,
Can you do it in
back-
this trip?
go back to the future.
If anybody doesn't know,
Go get Marty McFly.
we call him Slick Daddy because of the big ass slicks on
Oh,
the back.
no.
So those slicks better produce some fire on these tracks.
That shit. I hope so. If we want to go back in time, they will. So what is your opinion of the car scene as of late?
I am of the mindset of takeovers. I don't understand it. I'm not from that world. Some of the kids nowadays, you know, you guys, y'all love it, but to me, I don't get it. Swinging a car, a group of people around, that's just dangerous. And I'm sure there's a lot of people that agree with me. A lot of people that don't agree with me. That's fine too. But I won't be at that scene. That's just not my dig. You know, I'm not digging it. But it's changed a lot. You know, you got a lot of little different niches in the car community. You've got your car show guys, you got your race, you got your underground racing, you got your track guys, and trying to find your way into that world is what that's a personal thing, right? Some people like that, some people like this, and I think everyone's going towards that takeover phase, and I say it's a phase because it will go out.
Eventually, yeah. I feel like
Eventually.
when it first started, it was a lot bigger.
Yeah.
Like you hear about it now, but I don't feel like it's as freaking as it used to be.
Yeah, I don't get it, but you know that's just
You know?
me.
But like, it's like you want to do donuts, you want to swing your car, bro. Go somewhere where there's nobody there. Like, don't do it in the middle of an
Yeah, if
intersection.
you're gonna do it in the middle of freaking the city, man,
Like-
I don't get that. That's the part I don't get. Like if
Yeah,
you're gonna
like-
do it in the back of a warehouse or something.
Back of a warehouse, you know, like go talk to some people, do it in like
Yeah.
somewhere like that they have like a fucking big ass empty parking lot.
Yeah, I just maybe.
But
that's
like
me.
in the middle of the intersection thing is what I don't get. Like you literally could ruin your whole life for like 10 seconds of fame.
Well, you seen that video with that F-150.
Oh, the one lately? Like it was
Yeah.
doing donuts and then the
And
cop
it
in
was in
Georgia just
Georgia.
ram him
Yeah,
and
you
freaking
know,
pulled them out the car with gunpoint.
yeah, like 30 seconds, a minute prior to that kid was not thinking, I'm gonna go to jail.
Right.
And
Or
ruin
the
his
half his
life.
whole life kind of like screwed right
Or
there.
he hit a
Dunzo.
person, I think, according to the video, looking at it, but it's crazy, man. I don't get it.
10
But,
seconds of fame. That's what people, they don't see the big picture. They're not like
Nah.
us.
and then maybe that's what it is. Maybe, you know, they'll grow out of it, you know, and
Hopefully.
no offense to you young guys, but that ain't me.
Yeah. It's like, I mean, I'm not saying that we angels, you know, like
No, not
we
at
do
all.
we do pulls on the highway. You do your little burnout here and there, but like
I
bro,
don't do
too,
burnouts, bro. I don't have an LSD.
you do a one-wheel peel.
I do.
So like in that aspect for I don't know, like, you know, we're not angels. So it's like I'm just saying like there's a better way to do that stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
In my opinion. It's not just like, fuck, let me just go shut down an intersection where people gotta get to work. Or I seen like freaking ambulance gotta get by. What if your mom is sick and you gotta
Yeah,
call a
that's-
freaking ambulance and the
that's
ambulance
where-
is stuck because a bunch of morons is
That's
blocking the
crazy.
damn road.
No, I can't.
So
rock
like,
with
you know,
that.
that's something I can't go with. Like,
Nah.
yeah, go to the back of a warehouse, fuck up your tires, don't hit nobody, be safe. But in the intersection where like first responders, there's a fire or there's somebody that actually needs like police help
Yeah.
and stuff like that, like you just impeding all of that. So you just a moron for that.
It ain't my thing, and I just probably won't be. No comment about that.
It's just gonna
No
be,
comment.
all right, let's move on.
No comment.
So what is your opinion about car clubs? I know we talked about this a lot, and are you in one?
I am. I'm part of Envious worldwide car club, team Envious, and Charlotte chapter, and I dig it, man. Like I started I tried starting back in the day. My brothers and I and our close friends, we started a car club, Elite Styles. And you know, as any car club, it's always a little group of guys, your crew, right? And you know, everybody went and we doing our own thing. And as time goes on, people's lives change. You know, people move on, and that's what it is, right? And you can't be mad at that.
No.
And it kind of dies out. And when I got back into this car scene, this car culture and community, I wanted to relive that, bring that back. You know, I wanted to see how that was going to be. And it's tough. It is hard to start your own car club. You know, it's hard to say. I say that because I have a specific taste in cars and in a car crew that I want to be part of. I love very clean cars, legit clean, and not to knock anybody who's got a shit box or knock anybody who's trying to get their car to par. That's fine. But to me, I take pride in my car. You know, every time we go to a car show, I don't even say what up to anybody. I grab my rag, start cleaning, and then I go out and I say what's up to people. That's just me. So starting the Elite Styles thing, it was tough because I couldn't find that. I couldn't find that person to be like, oh, I vibe with you because of that. And you can't really start a car club, say, who are you with? It's just me. Like that's
definitely hard.
That's tough.
It's always harder to get started versus like finding people once you like rolling. It's just like with anything. It's like, you know, if you're starting a business, right? It's hard as hell to get started. And but once you get moving and rolling, like you just...
Yeah, and I commend anybody who's starting one, man. Good luck, because it's tough, man. It's hard. But, you know, I found Envious. Envious and I, we linked up, and they're the closest things that I felt like, it sounds like cliche, but like a family, man. Like I've seen people in that crew help each other out the way it was in the family. And it opened up my eyes. I was like, man, this is legit. And not to knock what we got going on as far as our little crew, like, that's our own little separate world, right? You could live in both worlds.
Yeah.
And I think that's perfectly fine. But Envious is the team where I was like, you know, I could get down with them. I like their builds. And I found that's the most beneficial for me when it comes to a car community family. And I dig it.
I mean, yeah. Everybody has their own taste.
Yeah, and everybody's not going to be part, and that's fine too. That's part of the culture. Everyone has their own little niche and their own lane that they travel in, and that's fine. So
that's pretty cool, man. I'm glad you found what you were looking for in a car club. And, you know, aside from like our little like friend and family stuff versus like, you know.
Some people have an issue with that, right?
Yeah.
Some people go, oh, why are you hanging out with them, not with us?
Right.
And
so
that's something that's tough to
separate.
To
me, I've been in car clubs and I had like the other side of it.
Yeah.
Where like the club fell apart. I'm not gonna mention any names because the person probably watches this or will watch this one day.
Yeah.
But there was one, it got political. Somebody wanted to kick somebody that being the leader. That person got kicked out. These people will not get together if it wasn't like something planned and you didn't end up at a brewery or something to go drinking. And I'm like, that's a lot of drama. See you guys later.
Yeah.
I bounce. Got in another one, the dude that made it, he was super chill at first. We used to go to car meets and, you know, as a group, there was a lot of nice cars. Yeah. I met a lot of people through it, grateful, and it was fun while it lasted. But the dude, if he didn't win or get a trophy himself as the leader of the group, like of the car club, he will be pissed. And, you know, he will yell at his wife. And it was just not cool. And I'm like, bro, too much drama again. I'm out of here. Peace out.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm done with car clubs. I mean, and that's what I told you when we kind of talked about it.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't mind, but then being in a car club is a lot of responsibility because you're just not repping yourself at that point. You're like repping everybody else.
You're not, and that's the point.
You try to get together with everybody as often as you can. And as you've seen, like, our friend group is very, like, it varies. Like, you know, we're all friends. And then, like, I hang out with all the other guys that have, like, GTRs and there, but we all know each other, but everybody just do different stuff.
I won't lie. When I first met you, and that's where I go back to everyone having an issue with it, I was low-key upset. I was like, yo, we all went to the car show together. Why is this guy parking away from us? I don't get it. I get it now. But at the time, I was like, I don't understand. Like, what is it? What did I say something wrong?
No.
But I understand what it is, you know, and then you separate that little crew, and it's totally fine.
But, like, for example, like, we hang out, like, every weekend.
Yeah.
Like personally, all our fiancés, wives get along.
Yeah.
And we all hang out. So like we all know each other on a personal level. Like, but when we, you know,
Yeah. Absolutely.
I like to park with my Nissan guys, and then like you with the, with the shirt. Like everybody could still go do their thing and park with people, and just at the end of the day, we all still friend and family.
Well, it's a beautiful thing when you have that.
Like it's like,
idea.
for example, like I can't be mad at you, be like, oh, why are you parking with these dudes from MDS all the time? That's like, that'll be rude of me, because then that'll be like hypocritical.
Yeah.
Is that a word? Hypocritical?
You're being a hypocrite.
A hypocrite.
I think
Yeah, there you go.
hypocritical is a word.
It might be a word. I don't know.
Let's pause.
Somebody will check me in the comments.
Comment below.
But I could be a hypocrite and tell you, like, kind of like press you about it, and I'm doing the same thing, going hanging out with the other guys that we know.
Yeah, and you got to have that understanding, right? It's nice to have that with a crew who's understanding. Some guys are not like that. And I feel bad. Sorry.
And it's a low blow, and it brings like the car community down, especially now where everybody's just trying to like one up somebody,
one up someone,
one up somebody, so like everybody's like, oh,
yeah, but that's
I did
life,
this,
man.
and
everyone is outside the car community. It's like that. I think
for the most part, I mean, like there's us, like you're successful,
No, I'm not.
bro. You don't think you're successful, but a lot of people wish they were in your shoes.
That's true. You got to appreciate.
You have a
where
happy
you're at.
marriage. You have a beautiful house.
I love my wife.
You have a beautiful car.
Thank you.
You have 2 grown, beautiful kids.
Thank you.
You have a great group of friends. So like a lot of like, when I say successful is just not that amount of freaking dollars that you have in your bank account or in your pocket.
Yeah.
Successful could be like, yo, you have great people around you. You have a good life.
And some people lose sight of that, and probably when I said no, I don't. That's where I lost sight,
Yeah,
it's
so
all relative, right? My
so-
idea of being successful is way different from somebody else's.
Right.
But-
like there's a lot of people that just like, oh, successful is like, damn, I don't got $1 million in the bank.
Right.
I'm not successful.
Right.
But then they don't see how like beautiful it is. So like the only thing that's really important is fucking time. You lose track of time, and you lose time, you lose a lot.
Yeah, you do.
So like you can't get time back. If you lose money, you can always get money back. If you
true.
broke, you can always work more, and get more money. But like time,
Yeah, time is key.
yeah. If you lose your time and you don't take advantage of how to use your time correctly with the right people around you, then you're gonna be in a bad place.
Yeah, it's tough trying to divvy out my time, man. Nowadays, being in this community, every week. What are we doing this weekend?
Yeah.
And I've got to learn to, all right, like this weekend, I've got to set family aside. That's what I got to do this weekend, next week. Like, you got to, it's a damn business, bro. I'm telling you, everything's a full-time job when it comes to this.
Yeah. So it's like you got to learn how to respect, your wife's time or
Absolutely.
your daughter's time, because like one, you gone and I'm gone throughout the week working.
Yeah.
Then we come back, and then it's like, damn, now we're going to blow all our time doing car shit.
Yeah. And
So it's got to be a happy medium.
It's tough to try to get that
It's a
back.
hard balance.
Yeah. I
But
agree.
yeah, I think that was well put by the both of us. And so you are in the, like, now that I said that out loud, if you hear it, like, you're pretty successful.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
So, that's something to look up to since
you.
you're older than I am. Very
By a lot.
admiring.
By a lot.
It's very admiring,
Thank you.
like I like to have friends that are like, make me like want to, I guess, like level up.
Appreciate
like,
that, bro. Thank you.
So Thank you.
You're on your way, bro. I'll tell you that right now. The conversations him and I have had personally, I respect you a lot, bro.
likewise.
And I wouldn't be doing this here if I didn't. You know what I mean? And yeah, it's a great thing to meet new people and have that vibe.
Yeah, it's very rare.
yeah.
It's rare.
Hell yeah.
Very rare not to have somebody that's jealous of you, or that just be like, this guy's always doing good, but I'm
Man,
over
you
here
got
like,
600 horses, man. Fuck.
yeah,
I gotta get at least 720.
720 blazing.
Yeah, it's not gonna happen anytime soon, but
It will though. It will eventually. You know how optimistic I am.
I know.
So like
He's
that's
very
just,
fucking. Yo, let's just do this right now.
yeah,
I'm like,
let's
bro,
just go, let's do it.
I gotta have dinner.
All right, so now we're getting into like the fun stuff. Okay, so
Okay.
we got a bonus round, which I
ready.
call this the game round.
Game round.
Yes. So you're gonna have 2 choices.
Okay.
I'm gonna tell you 2 things. You gotta pick one within 3 seconds of it.
Is there an option for pass?
No pass. It's
I
just
have
one
to-
or the other. You
I
have
have
to
to
pick one.
choose.
You have to pick one.
Okay.
It's PG, except for one question, which you
Okay.
already read, which was pretty funny.
Michaela, I'm sorry, Mickey, Leslie.
Okay, so here we go. You ready?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
All right, so the first one is bags or coilovers?
Coilovers.
Okay, that was easy. Carolina squat or -10 camber on a slam car?
3 seconds. Negative
3,
10.
-10? Okay,
Negative 10.
okay. Turbo or supercharger?
Turbo.
Turbo, okay. Whew. Wrap or paint? This is a controversial one.
Oh, God. I'm in the mix right now with that.
Oh, man. Wrap or paint? Come on.
Wrap.
3. Wrap?
Wrap.
Okay. Stret tires or meaty fitment?
I think that's me.
Yeah.
This is more than 3 seconds?
Yeah, this is, well, the camera died, so let's start. I'll ask it again.
Okay.
Stretch tires or a meaty fitment?
At this
3,
point in my life, meaty
2,
fitment.
meaty fit. Okay, great. I like that answer. There's another controversial one. Rep wheels or real wheels?
Real.
Real wheels? Let's go. Straight pipe or name brand exhaust? 3, 2,
Straight.
1. Straight pipe?
Straight.
Okay.
At this point in my life.
So chrome wheels or like color wheels?
Color.
Okay.
Color.
There you go. So drag racing or drifting?
Drifting.
Drifting. Cool.
Drifting.
And this is the last questions.
Okay.
Are you a ass guy or a tatas guy? Come on. 3,
Ass.
2, ass.
Ass all day.
My man.
Oh, ass all day. All day. Sorry, guys. Girls.
You gotta love them yams.
No comment. No comment.
That was great. That was a good
I
one.
love you, babe.
By the way, Alex was the one that helped me come up with that.
Blame Alex.
Thanks, babe.
okay?
Love you.
What's
That was great. I
Blame
thought that
Alex.
was pretty funny.
That
So
was funny.
I know there's a lot of talk about like electric cars and fossil fuels. Where do you think the car scene is headed? When I say car scene, let me be a little more specific. Like just in like the automotive in general, where you think it's headed?
Automotive in general is going to be electric.
You think so?
Yeah. That's where I don't think it's a fad anymore at this point. I think the technology has gotten to a point where, and technology always grows, right?
Right.
And it's going to get to a point where you can fill up your electric vehicle in the same time it takes to fill up a gas tank, right?
Yeah, because I feel like that's the biggest thing now. Even though they have like the quick EV charge, let's say for the Teslas,
Yeah.
it's like, bro, like you gotta sit somewhere for like 30 minutes to get like a decent charge.
Yeah.
Or maybe an hour if you're going out of town. And if you do go out of town, you gotta use their maps to see where you could be able to
Yeah.
stop, because now you're gonna be stranded somewhere with a
Exactly.
car that doesn't run.
My personal opinion is I'm gasoline fossil all day because obviously that's what I know. I've never had an EV, so I don't know. I work in engineering, construction, and industrial, and power plants and all that, and I know it's going to take a shit ton of infrastructure for everyone to be on EV.
You think so?
Yeah, absolutely.
They kind of gonna have to remake the economy at that point.
Yeah, they're gonna have to redo everything, and maybe that's what is gonna happen. I don't know. Maybe at some point, there were no gas stations everywhere. There were no refineries to refine to get your gas and your diesel.
That is, you do have a point.
So
like before, it was just
yeah, it
Charcoal.
wasn't there, and it's a growing market, right? And everything is going towards EV. Am I a fan of it? No
Not
comment.
really. You be honest, like you really
No,
not, because one, the car doesn't make a sound.
It
so,
doesn't make
you
a
know.
sound, and I don't like that. I like a sound.
Right, you want
I just answer straight
you
pipe,
want to
right?
smell the
Right?
burning oils, the damn burning
I don't want burning oil in my
E85.
car.
I'm talking about 90s junk. All the cars burn oil at that point.
Yeah, I don't. Personally, I don't. In my industry that I work in engineering and piping. Right, I'll have a job at some point.
Everybody got that? He works in engineering and piping, so my man is good about laying the pipe. Okay, let's
Cut
get that
that one.
straight.
Cut that one too.
Oh my god. Okay, I'm gonna have to come up with a new nickname for you.
No, you don't. Sham Daddy's fine. I appreciate it. I'll rock with that one. Next question. No, I think having the EV world coming, it's coming, and it's no avoiding it.
I mean, yeah, because look at these supercars that they're building now that are EV and
Yeah,
fossil fuel.
yeah, the hybrids.
So like, it's like, holy crap, these cars make a shit ton of power. Like their instant torque is just like,
yeah,
like it'll be very hard to be a Tesla Plaid off the, like you have to have a fully built, let's say GTR, you know, like fully built GTR. Like this is, I'm talking about like built motor
yeah.
in order to beat a fucking Tesla Plaid from factory coming out the damn, like off the line.
Yeah, that's true. And they're all
It's
coming out right
insane.
now.
You know, because it's instant torque. All that power goes to the tires straight up.
My big issue with EV is there's no efficient way right now to recycle those batteries. You can do it. It's just expensive as hell. And obviously something's expensive. It's rare that you're gonna do it efficiently.
Right.
And it's hard. You know, you can take a car and an engine and a block, melt it down,
Yeah.
and you get brand new metal out of it. With a battery, you got chemicals in there. You've got different components that you got to pick apart, take all the different metals out. That's a process way more difficult than melting a car or crushing a car and getting those raw materials out. Is it doable? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely it's doable.
It's just going to take
It's
time and
gonna
development.
take time and money and like you said, development. So,
Well, I want to thank you for having this
thanks,
conversation.
brother. Appreciate it.
And for everybody that didn't catch it when we first started, where can they find you? Like social media, like what do you have?
Yeah, I'm heavy on Instagram. Catch me on Facebook rarely, but my IG is Mr_Tuesday. I try to follow everybody I can. You know, I don't discriminate against anybody. So,
By the way, guys, all he's saying, their link to his social media is gonna be in the description below, so
Somewhere
make sure
here.
to check it out.
around here.
I'm gonna put his Instagram like right in his face.
No,
Where
don't
he's
do
pointing, point somewhere, and I'll
Yeah.
put it.
Yeah, put it right here.
It's gonna be over there. But yeah, man, thank you for being the
Appreciate
first
it,
one
man.
on the podcast.
Thank you very much for having it. It's an honor, brother. Thank
That
you.
was dope. And for everybody, to all our viewers, let's find out what's your drive. And please give us a follow and a like and share with your friends and family.
Word.
Until the next one.
Appreciate it.
Peace.